precast wall sections for my HO scale layout. The precast wall is also known as Vibrocrate in South Africa. Before we begin, just the measurements quickly. The slabs are normally 1 foot high, which measures out to 3.5 millimeters in HO scale, and they are normally about 6 foot wide, which measures out to 21 millimeters, and the upright posts into which these concrete slabs slide is about 6 inches across and in width, and therefore they are 1.75 millimeters, which I've rounded up to 2 millimeters. So let us now start using Microsoft Publisher to create the precast walls of Vibrocrate walls. I'm selecting a page size as a A4 landscape and creating that specific page. Then I need the ruler to be in centimeters or millimeters and not in inches. So go to File, Options and Advanced, and then you will see about 3/4 of the way down you can change it to centimeters and click on OK. Publisher also allows you to zoom in on the object that you are creating, and I normally prefer to use this, as then I've got more control over the size of the object I'm inserting. Now for the first slab to insert, I'm going to insert a rectangle, and I move my cursor so I can be right on the 2. It will bold the line next to the 2, and I'll move it down to the 2 at the bottom on the vertical ruler. And then to insert the shape, let's just see if it will insert it. 2 to 4.1 millimeters, and the height, let's see if we measure the height. If we put the cursor on the line 2 and we move up, it looks like it is about 3.5 millimeters. But we do not want it filled, so let us remove the fill, no fill, and the lines we don't want that thick. Let us go to a 1-point line, and there we have the first slab of our wall. Then it's a simple process of copying and pasting, Control C, Control V, and you copy that one to underneath. Then I'm going to enlarge it a little bit more. You combine those two by using the group function. Select the first one, press Shift and click on the mouse to select the second one, group, and do the same, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And normally Publisher is a smart program. It will give you some grid lines to help you align the items. And there we have a 4-foot wall section already, and we want one more section, so simply Control V, and we will move that in, wait for the grid lines. There we are, and we've got a 6-foot wall section. Then what we need to do is to group that all together as one section, and then we need to insert the upright next to it. So again we will go to Insert, Shape, Rectangle, and then we go to right on the bottom line, and we see we are just above 4, and we said this is 2 millimeters wide. Sometimes it is easier to create the shape and afterwards edit it. Now let's see, that is 4.5 or 41.5 plus 2 millimeters should be 43.5, which is more or less correct. And then again we need to edit that we don't want a fill, and the line we want to bring down the weight of the line to 1 point, and there we have that. Now we simply need to combine that one with the horizontal slabs, and we group, and we can again copy and paste, which is a wonderful function on a computer, and align that and paste again. Wait for the grid lines to show me that I am in line, and if you think you are not getting it very accurately, then simply enlarge it a bit more. There we are, and we can paste another one. If it looks like the lines are very thick at the moment, don't worry too much about that. You can see there's a little bit of a misalignment at the bottom, but that is so small, when we actually go to the correct size it will barely show up. And we continue doing this until we have got the length of wall that we need. We can actually do the whole page, and at this point we can save and then print this file out, and you will have that on a page. I recommend that you do this on a 180 gram paper, or 120, 160, any thickish paper, thicker than the normal paper. If you don't have a thick paper, you can print it on the normal A4 paper of 80 grams, but then you will have to paste it to a card or something, even a thin styrene sheet, to make it stand upright. And also the Vibrocrate that we print out is only one-sided, which is fine in most applications, but if you have it running at an angle and it's visible from both sides, you can paste two of these together back to back, that you have got Vibrocrate slabs or wall sections on both sides of the wall. Once this is printed, I will show you what to do next. Once you have printed, as you can see on this sheet, I have printed a whole sheet full of precast wall sections. The next tools that you will need is a small tweezer, a sharp hobby knife, especially with a number 11 X-Acto blade for cutting, some tacky glue, a toothpick, somewhere to put the glue on when you use the toothpick, and a steel ruler. So let us now go ahead and cut one of the sections, and I will show you what else is to be done to it. You will also need a pencil, and your straight edge or steel ruler must also be marked off. So we will measure 2 millimeters from the edge of the page, and on the other side lower down as well 2 millimeters, and then we will connect the dots. Draw a line, and then we're going to cut that section off, because we're not just going to print out and leave it flat, we're going to give it a bit of a 3D appearance. And so now let's go ahead and make a very light cut. I see my ruler is moving. And there we have, but that section is a bit thick. Let's take another one now that we've got a straight edge on the paper, and let's measure another 2 millimeters. Perhaps see if we can't make it a bit smaller, 1.5 millimeters. As you will see shortly what we will do with these small strips. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Now let's get the ruler straight up against them, and let's slice that section off. And of course, as all modelers should know, many light cuts instead of one hard cut. And not enough light cuts. Let's just cut one more time to get through. There we are. Now what we will do is to cut our Vibrocrate or precast wall section. And what we do here is we go to the top and We slice down and down again. Keep those for later. The reason that I am not cutting the bottom off, but I will cut the sides. As you can see, this can become a bit time consuming. Okay, and the other side. The bottom we will fold over to help make it stand. You can also, instead of folding the bottom over, so what we do there is to make a very light cut so that we do not cut through the paper, but just give it a bit of a fold line. And there it's perhaps easier to use the back of the blade and not the front of the blade. And then once the paper has been scored, you can go ahead and just gently bend it a couple of passes, and there you have your wall section standing. But as I said, we want to make it 3D, so what we will do there is this thin section that you have sliced off is to glue that and cut the pieces to the correct length. Just find my toothpick and a bit of glue. Just going to place some glue on this little bottle cap, and then using the toothpick, going to go on the upright and simply put some glue down there. Luckily this is craft or tacky glue that dries perfectly clear. So then what we do is to place the strip on the glue, and we simply slice it off the top. This is quite a tedious process, but it looks quite well, and as you can see, I've also cut the rest of the Vibracrate or the precast sections the top flush, and now I can just place the next upright across, making sure it's level on the bottom, and it must overhang a little bit on the top, because the uprights sometimes do not end flush with the wall, but they extend a little bit. This can always be cleaned up a bit later. And so we continue through the whole of the wall, doing all of these little uprights, being careful not to get glue on your fingers and then transferring it to the wall sections, making sure all the uprights are straight. Slicing it off, and if I turn it, you can see that there is a difference. The black lines disappear and it looks much more realistic. And then if you fold the bottom edge away, that it will actually stand like that. Hope you have enjoyed this how-to video. Click like and subscribe and the bell icon that you will be let know if any new videos are uploaded to my channel.